Welcome back, watch fans. Today we're discussing making money with watches, and this is part 2, discussing which watches are going to get affected by the upcoming recession, market crash, etc. I did a part 1. We talked about some of the various reasons why there could be a pretty serious economic recession, crisis, market crash, whatever you want to call it, right? I gave you a couple of reasons. One is, look, we haven't had a recession in 17 years. Everything is cyclical in nature. Trees don't grow to the moon. There's some challenges in the economy right now, and it very well could be that the Trump, those cost saving stuff, right? All the trimming all that government fat, getting rid of all these leeches and parasites that are stealing your money, my money, from the American taxpayer. That could have an effect, right? Because these mooch bums that are, overbilling the government for, Medicaid or whatever, right? Those guys are buying Audemars Piguet, right? They're buying, those guys are usually buying Breguet Marines, right? Usually that's the Breguet Marine customer. But anyway, bottom line is, look, there's a couple of different things. So today we're discussing part 2, which is which watches are going to take the biggest hit. And make sure you leave your nasty and vicious comments below. Now, in case you don't know, this is the #1 channel when it comes to making money with watches. Our whole goal is to get in on the ground floor of watches that can increase, 2 to 3 times in value over the next, 2 to 5 years, right? So you're making 20% plus on your money and enjoying wearing a beautiful watch at the same time. Right, that's what our channel is all about. You want to find out more, you got to join the channel. And we're also going to have a special meetup for all the top secret members of the Illuminati, the Las Vegas Horological Congress in April. You got to email me, brutalwatchreviews@gmail.com to be invited. This is a top secret event for the Horological Illuminati and international celebrities. So, which watches are going to take the biggest hit? So I mentioned a couple things. I said in the previous video, sort of your middle class watches are going to be the entry level luxury is most vulnerable, and that usually means modern watches. For sure, Rolex. That's right. Even Rolex steel watches, your smart steel watches, they're going to take a hit. The only exemption is Daytona, because Daytona, again, it's its own cult. It's always traded at a small premium for the last, well, not always, but for the last at least 30 plus years. I don't know if that's going to change, unless people wake up. I don't know if they're going to wake up because they're stupid like that, The Daytona is a tomato can watch. It really is. And I think this is where Anthony Farrer works. That's right. Anthony Farrer works here giving the massages. And that's what's going on. So, which watches could take a hit? So now, one of the things that are most vulnerable, I believe, Fugazi brands like Breguet, these Fugazi type brands, or you have Ulysse Nardin, Arnold and Son. I'm just coming up with various names. You got a bunch of these brands that actually produce a quality watch. Okay, don't get me wrong. Breguet is actually a good quality watch. There's nothing wrong with Breguet. Okay, the only problem I have with Breguet is, I think it's just a fussy, old-fashioned design. It's intellectually dishonest to be doing essentially a replica watch of something done in the 18th century. Again, the design is from 300 years ago. That design is, look at that. That design is 300 years old, and they're just redoing the same design from 300 years ago when we're in the year 2025, so they should be doing something a little bit more modern. I mean, even Patek Philippe does something which is more modern looking, right? When they do these old-fashioned reissues, so I have an issue with them. There's actually a beautiful watch I've seen called Arnold and Son, which I think they make beautiful stuff, but they're going to get wrecked. There's a bunch of these brands that are going to get totally wrecked. Ulysse Nardin is probably going to go under. There's a bunch of these brands are very, very vulnerable. So where you want to be essentially is blue chip stuff. Okay, when times get tight, the first thing that gets dumped is the trash, right? The desperados. The desperados, like the Archie Luxuries of the world, the Artem Pizdets, you know, all the grift streamers, the JJ Bukyaks, the Okucks, those guys, you know, the HELOC bros, the guys who take out loans and credit cards and all to buy watches. Those guys, you know, they're going to get desperate and they're going to be forced to liquidate. And what that means for you is those types of watches are going to get hit hard. So I think like anything like a Breguet, any type of you know, hype modern Royal Oak, you know, some of these, you know which watches I think are really very vulnerable. I think Rolex Oyster Flex watches, the entire Oyster Flex line. I think because the bracelet is so ugly, the black rubber is just so nasty looking. Very comfortable, but it's so nasty looking, and I think people associate it with kind of the Corona era. Though, unless Rolex comes up with a new strap, which they should, they should definitely do them in colors, right? Like that's the thing that they're missing. Why are they not doing it in colors? Well, I have no idea. But black is really stupid looking for a sports watch. It's too formal, right? It's too formal. Just doesn't make any sense. So I think the Oyster Flex things are, which is essentially like a bro watch, right? The Oyster Flex is like a bro watch. Those I think could take a very significant hit, very significant. So if you want to lose all your money, you put it into the Oyster Flex. Well, not all your money. They're going to drop like hard. I'm talking about hard drops. And what else? What else are we talking about? Breguet. You know, some of these secondary, tertiary type brands are most vulnerable, and also modern Patek Philippe. Modern Audemars Piguet, very vulnerable. Where is your money safe? Your money is safe in actually vintage watches right now, which have been moving up. So, for example, again, I'm not here to talk up my own book, but the Patek Philippe, which is already doubled in the last what is it, 6 to 9 months. The Patek Philippe has doubled. That watch is going to continue going higher. Now, even if there's a severe recession, I think the trend is going to continue. It may not continue. It's not going to go parabolic, but it'll still continue. So instead of maybe, you know, doubling from here, it might only increase, you know, 70% in the next 6 months. So that's kind of what I'm saying. But your money is going to be protected, I believe, in watches like the Ellipse. Why? Well, supply and demand. There's a lot of demand. Demand is increasing, and the supply is no more. Right? They stopped making those watches. I mean, again, you don't want to buy the modern one. The modern Ellipse is for the peasants only. We're talking vintage 70s and 80s watches is specifically what we're talking about. We're not even talking about 90s. And stuff like this, I think, is relatively safe. Okay, for example, I think the Audemars Piguet Royal Oaks are going to take a hit. The Royal Oaks are going to take a hit, okay? I think the Royal Oaks, even vintage, is going to take a hit. And I think a watch like this could drop 20%. Possibly could drop 20% if things get rough. Wow, look at that. The tide is high. Look at this, unbelievable. I can't even go on the beach. It's completely soaked. Look at this. Wow. I think you guys saw the other video, and that one was, the beach was dry. I guess this is what happens with global warming, the soil erosion, right? Yeah, the beach gets narrower. The beach gets narrower. There we go. Anywho, anyhow, I don't know if I should risk walking out there because I don't want to get soaked here. Yeah, let's see. What's the worst that can happen, right? Actually, I don't know if the sand is dry. This could be like quicksand. Okay. So I think watches like this could also take a hit. Why? Because the AP has been a little bit overhyped. I think the air has been coming out. Wow, the air has been coming out. Oh shit! It's okay. Yeah, this is not a dry beach. Okay, this is not a dry beach. Look at that. Okay. Whoa. Get some real waves here coming in. These are like, what are they, 6-foot waves? Yeah. Anyhow, so back to the story. So the Royal Oak, I think Royal Oak is going to could take a bit of a hit in a really protracted recession. How big? Not terrible. I think maybe 20%, and then it'll work its way back up, right? I think the watches where your money is safest right now, frankly, is something like a Patek 3528 Ellipse. That's right, which is a kind of a weird watch, but there's a very limited supply, and it's not expensive, so it's relatively accessible. And there's a lot of demand, so those I think are going to do well. Things like that. I think things in that kind of 10 to 20 grand range that are collectible, that have limited production, those are going to do okay. Mass production stuff is going to take the biggest hit. So modern watches, which are the mass-produced watches, which are still in current production, those are going to take a hit because there's a lot of supply, and the demand picture is, if it dries up, well, you know what happens then, right? I don't need to explain to you the how supply and demand works. So that's the bottom line. Let me know what you knuckleheads think. Leave your nasty and vicious comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.